Hi guys, it's Adore Abby back with another YouTube video. I know after I made the first video, I did not make any other videos because, guys, it got real in nursing school. So today is actually my last day of nursing school. I was supposed to have clinicals, but my professor did a one-on-one with us, basically a one-on-one evaluation, just to let us know like how we did throughout clinicals. But we're gonna talk about clinicals at the end of the video, so without further ado, let's get into it. So for this video, I am going to be going over some tips, study tips that I wish I had followed while I was in my first semester of nursing school. I'm going to be going through how I got through the semester with good grades, and I'm going to also be sharing my clinical experience with you guys. So starting off, we're going to do the study tips. So the first study tip that I would recommend is, if you guys are doing your study guides or anything of that sort and you don't have clarity on the information, I would say relate to your textbook. I did not use my textbook the entire first semester. For like fundamentals and stuff like that, I really didn't use it because my professor, she mainly lectured off PowerPoints, and she would let us know what's important on the PowerPoint and tell us like, hey, you can focus on that if you want to like have more information, and it's a good thing to know, but I'm not gonna test you on that. So she was really like upfront about what's gonna be on the exam, so that was one of the perks that I actually liked. So going into pharmacology, that's when the struggle got real. I did not use the textbook. I wish I did. My friends did. So I just didn't. I like physical book. I have like having the actual book, and I didn't. I have the ebook, and the ebook was like, it wasn't really hard to navigate, but to like scroll to chapter 20, you're gonna be like, this is all you're gonna be doing. So like, it's kind of annoying. So I really didn't go through that, but I did use other resources, and I'm gonna share that when I get to what I did to get good grades for this semester. Another thing, while I was studying, it happens every time. My phone is right there on the bed with me or wherever I am, and I would look at my phone. I'm like, oh, let me go on TikTok for like a quick 2 minutes, just get a little break. 30 minutes later, I'm just now getting off TikTok or Facebook or whatever I'm on. And that was a huge distraction for me because I'm there trying to study. My exam is like in 2 days, and I'm over here scrolling through Facebook, scrolling through Instagram, and scrolling through TikTok. And I'm like, okay, it's just a quick break, okay? Quick break. No, it turned into 30 minutes. So my recommendation is, if you are studying, try to put your phone in another room, or to just get it out of your sight, because if you know it's right there, you're gonna be tempted to pick your phone up and do whatever you want. And let me say, you need all the time. You need to be focused on what you're actually studying, because you can't have your phone with you when you're in the examination room. So I would say, guys, just keep it out of sight. It would really help, because that was one of my downfalls for this semester. I realized that I had that issue mainly for pharmacology, and I wouldn't say, I had like 40 something drugs to study every exam, and the exam were like a week and a half apart. So like, when I got to drug number 10, I feel like I physically, mentally, and emotionally clocked out, So yeah, keep your phones away from you if you're trying to study for your exam. And the last tip I have is, if your professor is offering office hours to either go over your exam, I would say you utilize it, please, because I didn't do that. Even though I should have. I'm not even gonna make any excuse about that. I should have utilized that, but I didn't, because I felt like I didn't have time for that. And I felt like, oh, I got it, but I didn't really have it, So please make sure, if your professor has office hours, make good use of it, because you never know. You might come out understanding more, like have a better clarity on what you were doing in the first place. So just please use it. Please use it, because I thought I didn't need it, and even though I did good, it's not where I wanted to be, but I passed, and that's all that matters, okay? So now I'm gonna go through with how I got through the semester with good grades. So I'm gonna tell you what I used. So my professors, as I mentioned, my fundamental professor, she used to basically tell us what's gonna be on the exam. She used to be like, she'd say, you can focus on that, but that's not gonna be on it. These are gonna be on it. So we, at the end of every chapter, we go over key points, and the key points are what we actually need to study in order to get a good grade. So shout out to that professor. I don't want to call her name, but she was the real MVP for that. So fundamentals, I'm gonna say it was cake. It was cake. Adult health assessment, that one was cake as well, I'm not gonna lie. But the finals, it was really, really nerve-wracking. So you could pick for the first 2 or 3, I think it's 3 skills check off. For those, you can pick which systems you want to do your skills check off on. Now the finals is where it got tricky, because you had to know the entire head to toe assessment, and because you don't know what was going to be on the finals, you had to pick a paper, read a scenario, and figure out what system you had to assess. So that was really, really nerve-wracking, because when I got there, I was reading it. One of my friends, we were doing it together, so she got it like this, and I'm like reading minds, and I'm like, oh, it's cardiovascular. And she was like, no, I'm gonna have you try again. She was like, read it again. And I'm like, it's not cardiovascular? And she was like, I'm gonna give you one more try. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, thorax and lungs? And she was like, no, try again. She said, read it in your mind. She said, just read it to yourself and think about it. And I'm like, and then I got to the last part, and I was so nervous that I felt like I wasn't thinking. I got to the last word, and it says slurred speech, and I'm like, this patient is having a stroke. And she was like, so what would you assess? And I was like, you would assess their neurological system, because this person's having a stroke. You want to make sure they're alert and orientated, and you want to, So I'm like, yes, I got this. So she was like, the only reason why I gave you so many chances is because you were already doing good, and I know you know it. So she literally gave me like 5 chances after she said she wasn't going to. So I'm thankful. Shout out to that professor as well. So that was for that. So resources that got me through, especially for, I'm gonna always say pharmacology, because it literally whooped my ass. No lie. I have never had so much anxiety with anything in my life, as pharmacology stressed me out. So I use Simple Nursing with Mike. That man taught me so much in 10 minutes that my professor could teach me in 4 hours. So Simple Nursing, Mike, you're the real MVP. Got me through it. Also, I watched Sarah with Registered Nurse. She went more in depth with things. So if I, for instance, didn't have clarity on some things that Mike was saying, I would go to her and she would go more in depth with it. Level Up RN, she would put things in her own perspective, and she was really good as well. I did purchase her pharmacology cards and they were helpful. And yeah, she basically has all the systems. She has respiratory, cardio, nervous, endocrine, muscular, gastrointestinal, renal, reproductive, immune, and integumentary. Yeah, and I did utilize these flashcards because they also, you know, helped me with the signs and symptoms. Her mnemonics were also a lifesaver. But what I did, I had to be, I jumped from the flashcards to the PowerPoint because some of the signs and symptoms weren't on her card, especially those adverse reaction. She didn't have all of them, and my professor mainly tested us on the adverse reaction because the side effects sometimes were the same: nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, fatigue. So she really tested us on those adverse effects. So she didn't go in depth with those, so I would be pondering through the cards. Nurse Mike, Registered Nurse Sarah with Registered Nurse. So those are the resources that I used. Also, I mainly did this number 2, which is working on my study guide after every chapter. I mainly did that in fundamentals. So after every chapter, I would start working on my study guide, especially if we're going to be tested on 10 chapters. And yes, yeah, it happened. So after for like on a Monday, we went through 3 chapters. Whatever key point she told us, I would go ahead and I made my study guide. And what I did with my study guide, I know a lot of people like to use their iPads and create pretty notes, where I'm not there yet. I'm not there with those notes and whatever, and how you got it that pretty, I don't know. I tried it. My notes they were ugly. So I just typed my study guide, and when I typed it, I used GoodNotes. So after I typed it, I sent it through my email. I accessed it on the iPad and I added it to my GoodNotes. So what I did, I would go through and make it pretty. All these colors, I would make it pretty, and it made me want to study, seeing how pretty it was. And if I didn't have information, see, the light is kind of reflecting on it, so I'll just show you here. If I didn't have information, I would basically jot it in the corner. I would make note of it. I would make really cool mnemonics. Some of my mnemonics, I can't show it here because it's not PG-13. So with that being said, I make mnemonics up. So that's what helped me remember for the true, not the true or false, to select all and apply. If it was just like this one, it would say culture, spirituality, belief, previous experience, stuff like that. If it does not have a definition next to it or with it, then you automatically know that she might put that as a select all and apply. But for the definition, she would actually word it, and then you pick the answer. So just a key tip for all my new nursing students: please make your own study guide. Do not depend on others to do their study guide and they send it whenever they feel like. to the group chat. You're not gonna have enough time. Work on it yourself. And for those who have a photographic memory, yeah, it comes in clutch, because I remember I was stuck. There were two definitions. I was stuck between both of them, and remembering where and how I had it on my study guide, I was able to say, okay, this is not the answer, this is it. Just because I made my own study guide and I know exactly where it is, so I would just like close my eyes in the exam and I'm like, okay, go back, go back, go back. And then I realized, okay, it's not you, it has to be you. So that's another perk of making your own study guide, if you have a photographic memory. So my next tip would be, well, what I did was I study on the go, because I usually I always take my iPad with me wherever I go, and it's always in my GoodNote. So if I'm not doing anything, sitting down at an appointment, I'm studying, you know. So study on the go, especially if the exam is 2 days out, study on the go. And also I had study groups, so me and my friends, we like chose days that we were available. We would sit down, and with this, I don't recommend what just happened? Anyways, so with this, I don't recommend having like a very big study group, because it can be very distracting. My study group, it varies. It was like 3 and the max 5. So yeah, obviously you're gonna go off topic every now and then and talk about something, but you're able to get back on track. And also for that, get people who are as motivated as you are. I haven't came across anyone that wasn't motivated. Well, I have one person, but we're not really friends or whatever. They were just in my class. But yeah, get people in your study group who they're motivated just as much as you are, because hey, we need to pass this. We're gonna work together. And I realized with my group overall, with my friends, we were pretty good. Yeah, we made a pretty good study group. A pretty good study group. Can you believe that? So we would come together and we would, okay, this is how I was able to understand this. You never know. It could help that person, you, and you. So yeah, study groups are pretty cool. Just don't have a big study group, because otherwise that's like a little mini party, and you don't want that. You want to actually study. We came together and we explained how we were able to understand this topic, and we learned mnemonics, like stuff like that. Like it really made a difference. We didn't really have to study we did study groups are fundamental, but it wasn't really like a major thing, because fundamentals wasn't really hard. What was hard was pharmacology. Yeah, I'm back at it again. It was really hard. It was stressing. Like we were panicking, stressing, because we had so many drugs to learn. We had to know mechanism of action, side effects, what is it used for, adverse effects, patient teaching, nursing implication. We had to even know the therapeutic index. We had to know the antidote in case an overdose happened. It was so much information. Okay, so we really utilized those study group for that, and let's say we all passed, and I am happy. But I'm so glad I don't have to go through that again. But my motto is, it only gets worse from here. Yup, it gets worse. So surround yourself with people who are just as motivated as you are. And I can't stress it enough. Don't have somebody in your group who's not motivated to pass or don't care. Yeah, so surround yourself with positive people who wants to pass just as much as you do. Yeah. So that's the end of how I got through the semester with good grades. Um, my clinical experience, there's not much to say about it. Out of the entire 8 weeks, we only went twice. Yep, twice. So the first time we went, I was paired with a nurse. Oh my God, she was really wonderful. She was a really, really good nurse. She made me administer medication. I gave someone insulin, to blood pressure, vitals, the basic stuff. What else did I do?
2,000 years later.
I think that's all I did. But what I realized as a nurse, time goes by fast. We got there at like 7. They did their briefing, and everyone just started branching off, getting their meds, making sure their patients are okay. By the time we got done giving 1, 2, 3, 4 patients their medication, it was 11 o'clock. And I'm like, what the hell? Where did time go? So yeah, as a nurse, it's very fast paced, and I am a type of person that likes fast paced because I don't want to be sitting down bored. I want to be on my toes, on the go type shit. So excuse my French if you're watching this in your but anyways, yeah, so it was really fast paced and I really liked it. So the second time we went, which was the last time we went, I was paired with a PCT. So all I really did the entire time I was there was vitals, blood pressure, glucose check. That's all I did on every patient. I wouldn't say it was boring. It was fun because I was actually gaining experience, so it was fun. When I did start out, I was paired with another classmate, and we had a Hispanic PCT. But the thing was, for me, it was the language barrier because I don't speak Spanish, guys, and majority of the patients there, they're Spanish speaking, and then the other classmate that I had with me, she spoke Spanish, so everyone was just there having a nice time and chatting it up, and I was there like clueless. That was the only thing that I didn't like. But after a while, that classmate, she went to go work on her care plan, and I wasn't doing anything because the PCT said she was going on a break. So when I did see her, I asked her if she needed any help, and she said not right now. But guess what? I kept following her because I was not gonna stand here like a dummy not doing anything. So I followed her because I want something to do. So she did give me she showed me how to use the monitor for the glucose check and all that. And yeah, that's what we walked around, and she had me do the glucose, the vitals, everything. She showed me how to input the information and send it to the computer. So yeah, you have to be adamant about doing something. You can't just like stand around and expect them to be like, oh, do this, do that. No, show them that you want to do it, because if you don't show them that you want to do it, they're gonna be like, oh, what is she doing here? But I wanted to do something, and I'm not gonna just stand here while you guys are doing it. You have to show them that you actually want to do something. Always come prepared with your stethoscope, your clipboard, your pen, and if you're required to wear your ID badge, make sure you have that. I think on that second day I did not have my ID badge. I forgot it, but no one realized. So I really don't care. I'm just glad no one knows. So when I was paired with the nurse, one thing she did tell me was you have to introduce yourself to the patient. If you're gonna do something to the patient, you have to let them know what you're gonna do before you touch them, because a lot of patients, they are really anti-nursing student, meaning they don't like nursing students. So you have to make sure it's okay to touch them, and you have to make sure you get their consent to do whatever you need to do. So yeah, just make sure you have everything. Make sure you have your notepad as well to take your notes, because you're gonna need to jot down those important information, their age, their background, language, all that, because you need to implement those into your care plan. Not gonna lie, I use the Nanda Nursing Diagnosis book, if that's how it is. If I said it wrong, I'll correct myself here, but if not, your girl got it. But yeah, I used that for my care plan because I honestly did not know what the hell I was supposed to be doing. I just followed what she had there, and the thing that made me, like, I wouldn't say upset, but you had to put 3 priorities, and in those priorities there were like a box for assessment, 1 to 5, encouragement, 1 to 5, medication, 1 to 5, nursing implications, or I think that's what, no, patient teaching, 1 to 5, and what was that last one?
Shit, I don't even know. Like, I can't even tell you that. Like,
I think it was everyone who was involved in the patient care. So the nurse, the PCT, the physician, 1 to 5. So it was a lot of information. So the professor, she did say that you should have a minimum of 3 for each slot. I used the hell out of that nursing diagnosis book. Okay, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't know any diagnosis. So I'm gonna just use the resources I have available for me, and I did. I did have a one-on-one with her today, and she was just going over everything virtually. We also had to write a QEP paper, and I was assigned patient education. So I did my QEP. She said my QEP was good. It's a few grammar issues where I think my paper was fine, but that's for a different day. I think my paper was fine. Okay. Yeah, so she said QEP paper was good. The first nursing care plan was good. And then the last nursing care plan, she said that I missed for my long-term and short-term goals, since we had inpatients. If that's what it is. I forgot. Inpatient? Yeah, at the hospital. So she said that the long-term and short-term goal has to be measurable. So if a patient has acute pain, we would say, short-term goal would be patient would verbalize their pain level is a 0 in the next 30 minutes to an hour. So you have to have a specific time that is measurable and it's attainable. Also, so that's where your SMART goals come in. And for your long-term goal, it has to be, since it's inpatient, it has to be by the time the patient is discharged. So that's what she was telling me, which is a great tip. Yeah, basically that's what she explained about those care plans. She said she doesn't really know why we were doing care plans, since it's fundamentals and we shouldn't be doing like a care plan. But yeah, other than that, those are my tips and tricks for what got me through my first semester. As I said, my motto is it only gets more difficult from here, but I'm in it for the long run. At the end next year, this time I'll be graduating, hopefully sitting my exam a few months down, and then I'll come back and tell y'all I'm an RN. Also, I'm gonna see if I can make videos while going through the whole nursing school. I do know that because I just started out, all my time was focused on studying, and it was really hard. I really did not record any videos or study sessions or anything like that, but I will try to do that for the upcoming semester that starts in a week. So we have a week break, and then we go back for summer semester, which is gonna be our med surg and our psych. So that should be fun. I will definitely let you guys know how psych clinical goes. I'm not ready for it, but it's something that I have to do. But if you guys have any questions or you're looking for a specific content, just please comment and let me know, and I will be happy and more than happy to record those videos for you guys. So again, I am signing off, and I wish all upcoming nursing students all the best. You got this. Make sure you surround yourself with positive and motivating people, because that will help you. I can't tell you how many people gave me their best wishes, and that's my motivation to keep going, because I know at the end of all of this, we are gonna be smiling and we're gonna be the happiest person on earth. Maybe someone in your second semester, third semester, my note for you is keep going. You are almost there. You're almost to the finish line. Don't give up. Keep going, okay? And I'm giving myself that pep talk too, because we can't give up, ladies and gentlemen, because we worked hard for this, and we are gonna make it with the help of God, of course. We will make it. So I will be signing off for today. If, as I said, any questions, leave it in the comment box, and I'll be happy to answer those questions. I will see you guys later. Peace. Bye, lovelies.